This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Wednesday, August 30th, 2017. The title of this rant is, Let's Talk About Race. The GOP sure knows how to talk the talk, but they do not know how to walk the walk. So since 1964 in a presidential election, the Democrats have never won a majority of the white vote. Currently, the GOP consists of 86% of the registered voters are white. And the GOP has been playing into their doubts and into their fears about black people in general that entire time. Now, after the rioting that happened in Charlottesville, the GOP was quick to denounce racism. But privately, I have to say that our sisters and brothers on the Republican side are all for racism. So we have voter ID and voter registration laws that restrict people of color from voting. And it is done solely to curb the epidemic of black people voting. And there have been laws that have been struck down just recently in Texas and in North Carolina by the federal courts, where they were doing that specifically to keep black people from voting. Was there an outcry from the GOP? No, none whatsoever. We can also look at law and order, which the GOP have been playing heavily on for the past 40 to 50 years. It is being exacerbated now by Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, where he wants to go back to maximum sentences. He wants to have increased incarceration rates. He wants to have more private prisons run by private enterprises, and the GOP, has done this all along because they know with the high rates of blacks and Hispanics that you can keep them as felons from voting. Has there been any outcry on that from the GOP? No, none whatsoever. And of course, the biggest overt act of racism by the GOP has been the birtherism on President Barack Obama's birth certificate, because all along they knew that the whole aspect of this birtherism thing was bogus. But they went along with it with a wink, wink, and a nod, nod. Hey, who knows? Maybe he isn't, And then you can go into a lot of other things. Minimum wage. You can go into comprehensive immigration reform, where the Senate passed a bill a couple of years ago. John Boehner in the House didn't bring it up because he knew that all of the white people in the white districts didn't want it because it empowered people of color. So the GOP has a long history of supporting racism, especially when it comes to voter registration, to voter ID, to the law and order type of thing, and into the birtherism. And they do it by basically saying, oh, no, we're not racist at all. But when it comes to the specific things, they do it with denial. They do it with excuses. They do it with false equivalencies. They do it with rationalization. But basically the biggest aspect of all of this is that our sisters and brothers on the Republican side want to keep power in the white man's hands. That is what it is all about.